Welcome to creating users in a Windows Server 2003 environment. In this brief tutorial, I will be showing you how to create a user in Windows 2003 using Active Directory's Users and Computers MMC plugin. We will be accessing the plugin through Start, Administrative Tools, and Active Directory Users and Computers. Now, if you haven't installed your administrative tools, you can access them via your control panel and administrative tools and selecting Active Directory Users and Computers. This will pull up the console. From the console on the left, you will select your domain, which will populate your tree structure. From your tree structure, you will then go down and select any OUs that you have created that you wish to add the user into, or where you want to create the user basically. So we're just going to select our users folder for now. We're going to right click and select new user. This can also be achieved by selecting your action at the top, selecting new and user. The new user, after selection, opens up the new object dialog box. From this dialog box, we will put in the pertinent information pertaining to our user, such as first name, last name, and to log on into our network. So we're just going to call this our new user. The user logon is determined by your domain policy or your company's policy. First name, last initial, last name, first initial, any combination that your security deems necessary. So we're just going to go ahead with a simple one and just do first initial, last name, and we will select next. It says I already have that name existed on here, so I have to create something else. One thing that is required is a unique user logon, so we will create something besides new user. We will call this new user 2, and our logon will be end user 2. We will select next. Our next dialog box that opens is for the password. Within the password dialog box, you basically have 4 options to configure, or that can be configured, I should say. The first option is to set the account so the password requires changing next time that specific user logs on. This is set by default, and it's generally left, especially when creating a new account for a new user. You want to give them a temporary password. Upon successful login, the user is required to change their password to one that they have selected. Your next option, which is user cannot change password, prevents the user from changing a specified password. You use this for such service accounts or temporary accounts that you've created for somebody that needs to access your system or your network for a specific reason. Password never expires. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, this will override your default domain policies, which sets password complexity rules and states that a password can only be valid for a certain amount of time, and then the password has to be changed. This will override that, so a password will never expire. The last option is account is disabled, so basically you can disable the account and make it an invalid account, or the user won't be able to log on. So we're going to go ahead and create a password. Make sure the password meets your complexity requirements that's set up by your default domain profile. Select next. Gives you a verification screen, which basically confirms the information that you've put in. You have your new username, which will log on to the domain. Says the user must change the password at next logon. We'll go ahead and finish that. And our new user 2 has been created in our user objects. I'd like to thank you for viewing this video tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post it in the form listed below. I hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to browse the remaining videos and learn more. The next videos we'll be going over how to manage the profiles.